This is Sound Fusion Radio.
Right, it's time for us to go across to our featured artist for the interview, and it's Lee John of Imagination, and he's been our featured artist all week, and the tunage has been absolutely fantastic. So let's go here from Lee John.
Hi, this is Lee John of Imagination. You're listening to DJ Gloss on Sound Fusion Radio. Hello.
Hello there. Is that Lee John?
Who's speaking?
Hello there. It's Glossy here from Sound Fusion Radio in South London. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So we have to do an interview, I take it?
Yes, please. If you're okay for time and would like to, that would be
I'm fine,
great.
I'm fine. I'm great. I'm just by the beach, so, the last day of my vacation, so I planned it that way, but that's cool.
Oh, wonderful. So whereabouts are you in the world then, Lee, at the moment?
I'm in Benicassim, which is in Spain. I have an apartment out here. It's near Valencia.
Beautiful. That sounds absolutely great. And I bet the weather's beautiful as well, isn't it?
Well, the sun is shining, and I'm just topping up my tan, getting an extra coat on me.
Well, that sounds good. That doesn't sound like a bad thing to do at all. Excellent.
Exactly.
That's marvellous.
Yeah.
Ah, brilliant. That's great news. I was hoping to ask you sort of some various questions, really, and if you're
no problem, fire away.
I was going to sort of start off with, 1981 saw the first hits coming out of Imagination, and I know that the name Imagination has a kind of a special meaning. It actually was formulated from something that means something to yourself, and I wondered if you'd explain that to the listeners.
Well, the Beatles were very, very obviously, the mega group of every century. And, at that point in time, John Lennon in 1980 got shot, fortunately.
Yes.
And Imagine, the track, went straight to number one. And we were sitting around in the office, and the great DJ Steve Walsh, myself, and Morgan Khan were just trying to think of a name for the group. And I think I was reading Music Week, and we were trying to put some names together, and it was just, someone had mentioned, something like Imaginations and stuff, and I said, well, that's interesting, because look, Imagine's number one, and, John Lennon, and it all came around because of really that song, and, we felt if we could only be blessed with the same sort of success as the Beatles, then that would be even better,
Wonderful. Yeah. So, I know John Lennon was an influencer for most of us back in the day, but who do you sort of remember as being your main sort of musical influences? Who were you listening to as a child?
Oh, my God. Well, I lived in America for 5 years, so in my early days, so I was listening to such a diversity of music, from Suasion to the Swaders to Isaac Hayes or Stax or Motown.
Yeah.
I used to listen to people like Billy Preston, his Outer Space record. There was a Midnight Movers and Follow the Wind. I was an avid record buyer, even from a very early age. So I listened to, obviously the harmony groups, but my influences were like Eddie Kendricks of the Temptations. I remember having his album, My People Hold On, and Go Need a Change of Mind was one of my all-time ultimate tracks that I used to love.
Yeah.
And, it was that kind of thing. And then when I came back to the UK, the club scene was really, really heavy, and we listened to the Blackbirds and, so many different sorts of music of that time.
Yeah, definitely. Funnily enough, played some Eddie Kendricks on The Breakfast Show this morning, so there you go.
Oh, which one?
I will have to check, because I can't remember off the top of my head, because I did play a lot of tunes this morning, but if you give me 30 seconds,
okay.
I'll check it out for you.
Cool.
Yes, it was Going Up in Smoke.
Oh, Going Up in Smoke. I love that. Yeah, I love that track.
Yeah. So it was part
I've got all his albums.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it was part of a mixes thing that we're doing at the moment called Motown Joints, which are all sort of reworks of great Motown tracks. And, really good fun stuff. That's great.
Well, funny enough, I'm working with, I think you may know, with Donny, Junior Chisholm, Rick Clark, Omar, and Noel McCoy, and and Paul Johnson. We've called ourselves The Collective, and
yes.
Recently, I've been playing the track Spiritual, which
That's right.
has been embraced by loads and loads of stations. It's become really big. So we're doing an album together. And actually, I've just recorded an Eddie Kendricks track from the Boogie Down album called Tell Her Love Has Felt the Need. So it's very appropriate, you know.
Wow, yeah. Excellent. I'll be very interested in that. That's brilliant because we've been enjoying Spiritual, and we got the remixes, and I love the loose mix of Spiritual. Oh wow.
Great, excellent.
Yeah, because it's got that sort of hanging on a string bit behind it, the loose ends feel behind it. I'm loving the Spiritual too. And we also put the Soulful House version in on my Thursday night show. I do a Soulful House show here on Thursday night.
Okay, great. Excellent.
Put that one in because you actually kick off the vocal on that tune, don't you? You're the first one in on
That's
Spiritual.
right.
Yeah, brilliant. Love the tune from the second we got it.
Love is so like water, I'm so
wonderful.
It's great. I love it. It's really good that we could all come together. I mean, I'm great mates with Junior. We've done many shows together. In actual fact, on an Imagination album called The Fascination of the Physical, I actually sang one of his songs called Loving Tight.
Yeah.
That's quite a few years ago. And occasionally, you know, we end up, you know, we're always meeting each other, and we've you know, done so many shows together over the years. I mean, even with Carl of Loose Ends and stuff, you know, we've been doing it a long time now. So it's kind of like, it's great that we can get together and collaborate on something that's really good.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, Junior I saw at Summer Solstice this year. He was brilliant. Absolutely loved that. And he mentioned about the Collective Den while he was on stage, and not to mention Brit Funk, of course, which was absolutely awesome. Brit Funk 30. I mean, God, you guys were great.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know if you know, I'm producing a film as we speak called Flashback. It's the history of UK black music. If you go to www.flashbackprojectuk.com, you can see the trailer. We've been working on it for the last 3 years, and it covers turn of the century up until, say, the 90s, where, you know, we had so much support for British black music up until the 90s when, you know, the whole industry changed. But we've got about over 100 hours which we're editing. So many great names participated. And it's the homage to a lot of the people that people have forgotten about who come from the UK, which covers, you know, from soul, Brit funk, to the pop soul, to reggae, to ska, to rocksteady, reggae. You know, we kind of give a nod to a lot of different people.
Sounds right up our street, actually, to be honest, Lee. I'm really liking the sound of that. That's great. We were speaking to Kenny Wellington only the other week, actually, who has featured artist Beggar & Co. on here. And, of course, again, Beggar & Co., like the world, they were also at Brit Funk with yourself and, you know, so many other people. And I just... What a wonderful evening that was, you know, finishing off with...
It was great.
Incognito.
Yeah.
Just fantastic.
It was really good. I mean, we want to try and do... I mean, we're working on trying to do a flashback show in January at the O2. We're collaborating with some promoters as we speak. When I get back, we should be, you know, putting that in place. But it's going to be similar to what was before, but a little bit shorter because there's so many names that we want to participate in it. But, you know, let's fingers crossed. We hope that can come about.
Well, that sounds great. I'm buying my ticket already. I'm on my way.
Well, I'm going to be, if you go on my website, leejohn.com,
yes.
I'm starting a tour from October 20th. I'll be I think on the 23rd, I'll be under the bridge in Fulham. So if you check out the website, you see all the other dates that we're doing. And of course, right now we've got the single Crash, which is out on Sony. You can download it. You can go to musu.tv and check out the video, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, because that's a double A side, isn't it? Crash and the Truth.
And the Truth, yeah. That's right.
Got
both on the best of imagination.
Yeah.
Oh, great! Fantastic.
Yeah, we've got Crash in rotation now, and the Truth we can put in rotation. We've been told a little bit later on, and then of course we've got the whole flashback album, the best, the very best of imagination. I've got that album right in my hand right now, actually, and yeah, I was going to ask you, Lee, a little bit of a cheeky question, actually, but I absolutely love the version of "Thank You, My Love" on this album. I think it's brilliant.
Okay.
And I was wondering if it was okay if we played it on the station.
Yeah, you can. You please play as many as you can. That'd be fantastic. It's one of my favorite tunes, and it's funny. But when I go to South London or do stuff down there, everybody always loves that record. It's one of those things that the funny story about Thank You My Love. It was top 20, but it could have been top 5. The only thing keeping it getting there was Band Aid, and all the records that came in the chart at that particular period of time, everything dropped. We were in from before Christmas up until Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And we just stayed there we sold enough records to be a top 5 record, which was really strange. We couldn't understand why it didn't go up higher. But every single record that was in the time we came in had all fallen out, but we were still there. And people were still buying Thank You, My Love. And that was in 1985, 86. So it was a very special record, very, very special.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was DJing in a club called Jesters at the time that was out. And I remember Band Aid being number 1 for just about ever. But, Thank You, My Love was a tune that was just asked for again and again and again at that particular club. And that's where I know it from. So, yeah, I guess it might be a bit of a South London thing, but what a wicked tune.
Well, I'll be doing it on the tour. I'll definitely be doing it on the tour for everybody.
Brilliant. I can't wait to see it. We'll definitely be coming to see you, that's for sure.
Great.
One question I was going to ask you, if you're okay for time, and that was about the formation of Imagination, because that's a story that there's not much known about, and I wondered if you minded sharing that with us a little bit?
Well, what actually happened was my history before Imagination. I always say to everybody knows about Imagination, the group, and the success and everything like that. But before Imagination, I was working in many different groups. I was doing bingo halls. I was doing working man's clubs. I was doing pubs and clubs, and it was a good way to graft my trade and learn, and educate myself even more about being in the business.
Yeah.
And I bumped into Ashley on one of these sessions that I was doing, and he was in a group from Northampton. And I had gone to Redbus, the record label, where Morgan Khan was there, and I'd taken him a track that I'd written and produced with Trevor Horn. It was called Got to Be Good, and Got to Be Good was going to be the single for him well, we didn't even know if it was going to be called Imagination, because they were signing me as an artist. It was up to me what was going to happen. So Morgan loved this track, sent it away to the States to get mixed, and they lost the master. And in that course, I was really obviously annoyed. And Tony Swain happened to be in the company at the time, my producer, and gave me a piece of music, and I took it home, because I was really annoyed, obviously, from losing the track. And I wrote Body Talk. And, and I always say, I wrote on my mom's kitchen table in Hornsey, very proud of that moment. Your roots are important to you, and that to me is something I mention all the time on stage, because it means a lot. My beginning is very, very important for me. And the first song determined my future. So I rang Ashley and said, look, I'm going to the studio, and we'd like to come down. I'm doing this track. And so we're trying to do a kind of an Ashford and Simpson thing, because I really love Ashford and Simpson. I love all their stuff. Yeah, definitely. So we were kind of moving in that kind of Ashford and Simpson way. I love Found a Cure and Stay Free album. So I was listening to that all the time. Yeah. So when we went in the studio, and Tony was there, and we just recorded Body Talk, bam, just like that, because we'd rehearsed it, routined it. What you hear on the record is that. Yeah. And later on, because actually Body Talk was recorded the winter of 1980, and then Morgan then put it out on the street, and people like Steve Walsh and everybody used to go down to the Beat Route. They started banging it, and all the DJs picked up on it, because it was like a completely different sort of sound and stuff. And later on, because at that same point, I was still doing working with different bands, and I bumped into Errol at one of them, Errol Kennedy, the drummer. Yes. And we thought, let's try and do it like a Police thing. I thought maybe we could do it like Police, have it like a session. You bring a session musician in afterwards, because in those days, all the bands had about 10 or 12 people, and nobody got any money. So it was so for the visual sense, I got Errol in to give it that completeness. And that was probably about March of 81, I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And then he joined in, and that's how it really, that's the truth of how it really started.
Yeah, because I remember, and I think it was 81 when you guys first came on Top of the Pops, and that was the first time I ever saw Imagination. Was at that time. I just, and you were so different. It was great.
Well, we were like working all the clubs, doing PAs up and down the country, and we wanted to be uniquely different, obviously visually as well as musically. And for black groups in those days, everybody, followed the Americans. We were into Funkadelic and Parliament and Sly and the Family Stone. And we thought, we've got a really smooth, sexy record, but we need to really be out there, a bit of theatrical. And it conveyed over in our live shows and stuff. I believe people want to escape when they go to see a show. They don't want to just see something being on TV. So I think that's what kind of influenced. And I must give Morgan Khan of Street Sounds credit, because he was the one that kind of pushed me a great deal for my Top of the Pops performance. He was saying, stroke that piano. He was the one really pushing for that. He saw a lot in me, which I probably didn't even realize was there. And, so that's what kind of made it work altogether.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, we've been speaking to Morgan recently about several things, but one particular thing that sticks in my mind is the Summer Ball this year, which was great in Crown Heights Affair and Rolls Royce and Fonda Ray. Yeah, I mean, it was.
Oh,
brilliant.
wow.
Yeah. So it sort of went from strength to strength there, really, didn't it? From 1981, I mean, the hits just kept coming, and the image grew, and your visits back to the TV just grew, and I would imagine that was a great sort of time for Imagination.
It was. I mean, we toured the world, performed for royalty. I mean, I've had some, because of the music, I've been able to help in charity affairs. I'm a patron for SOS Children, which is a worldwide charity for children's villages. And whenever I'm in Africa or other places, I try and, visit the kids and try and bring awareness of the condition, because the AIDS pandemic in these territories is very, very strong. So music has taken me way. I managed to work with so many different people. On one of the B-sides of Imagination, we've got Joe Sample from the Crusaders, who actually played on a track called, oh my God, what's it called again? I Gave It All. Yes. That's a hard one to find when Joe Sample's playing on the keyboard. And loads of other scenarios, went to LA, we worked with, oh my God, Randy Goodrum, who worked with Journey. We worked in Philadelphia with Nick Martinelli, who produced Loose Ends. He became a really good friend. Arthur Baker in New York, and all the Shakedown crew. Many DJs. I mean, the Instinctual track in 1988-89 got to #1 in America. And it was the first mixed by DJ David Morales. It was the first hit he had, and that kind of, put him on the map.
Yeah. And
so there's always been a connection, I think, with not just the audiences, but also with the DJs and the club people. And even now with Crash, we were getting some really interesting DJ reports, because they haven't heard anything from me from a long time. So it's been, and I must stress that it's down to the fans. In fact, even on Facebook, we get a really great support on the fan base, and I think it's the fans that make you, and and otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, no, that's great. We do get a good reaction for Crash. That's definitely something that we're getting a great reaction for, and loving the sound of the track. It's sort of it's more dancey than it seems at the start, and it just moves along. I love it. It's just one of those tunes,
It's funny because I'd recorded The Truth, and The Truth is a track that a lot of the fans know. Because I performed it for quite a few years in my shows, and they'd be, all of them were saying like, you got to put this on the album, da da da. So that really was because of the fans. Yeah. So I recorded The Truth the ending of last year, and I needed something to kind of wake me up. I said, and I was saying to my co-writer, co-producer D Vaz, I said, you know what? I need to go back in time. We need to do something kind of retro. I need to be saucy. I need to be naughty, So the lyrics to Crash came from that, the party scene and going back in time, and And then from then on, I've just been recording a lot of new stuff, obviously stuff for the collective and for a next album for myself as well. So there's a lot of stuff there. I'm doing quite a lot of collaborations, and so it's a real busy time for me, along with the film and along with the touring.
Wow, that's great. And looking down the discography you got there on the leejohn.com site, I mean, that's a great site, by the way. Absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you've also got a new Facebook page, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got an Imagination Facebook page. I've got a Leee John page and a Leee John page because when we were first doing it, we didn't know which one we were doing, and but we finally found our way around it and everything. Yes. And there's a jazz page, I think, as a Feel Myself, because I did a jazz album a few years ago, which was very successful in Europe. Because I also do shows as a quartet, my Leee John quartet, with my musical director, Dr. John Watson. He's been with us, oh my God, since the 80s, Wow. And we managed to go to France and we filmed this whole jazz album with Stefan Huchard, Stefan Kawahi, who are huge musicians in the jazz world. They've worked with people like Dee Dee Bridgewater and Herbie Hancock.
Wow.
And I got that great opportunity to do that in France because they have an outlet for that kind of music, and I received a Jazz Album of the Year over there, which was quite an honor because it was quite a departure from, obviously, Imagination. So, music has taken me to so many different dimensions. And I also did something recently with Mike Lindup of Level 42. We did a Stevie Wonder track for the charity version of Stevie Wonder's Vision. I've also done something with, what's his name, from The Specials. We did a version of Police and Thieves.
Really? I'm really interested.
So that's all going to be on my album.
Oh, well, great. Well, we need to be getting the album. I shall be looking out for that. That's for sure. Excellent. No, that's all very exciting stuff, Lee. Really is. I'm so glad that we've had these conversations today because it's brought such new stuff to, things that I didn't know about Imagination and also sort of things that you're planning for the future. So that's really great, and I'm loving that. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
The new summer look. I'm liking that. That's looking cool. The sort of open white shirt look and the hat. You do hats very well, I will say.
Thank you very much. That's part of my little logo now. It's like, my God, I bought. It's become a Leee John theme with the hats. It's one of those kind of things where, me and the hats. It's just become part of my uniform in a sense, which is cool. I love it.
We had a different photo of you on the website to start with, and I think it was Archie got back to us and said, "Can we change it to your summer look because that is the new look for you?" And we thought, well, yep,
that is it.
Yeah.
What we tend to do is like. We like when I had Feel My Soul, the jazz album out, there was a kind of theme. I kind of keep a whole theme going, so therefore people know it's me and they know what's going on and they see what, how I'm looking now. I'm kind of like, I always take a set of new pictures all the time. So, and update it. So I like people to see how I am today as opposed to how I looked years ago, which is okay. But I think that, especially with the internet, I think people want to feel that they're in touch with the person that they're looking at. I'm saying they don't. If you're too far or too distant in what you're doing or how you appear, you kind of lose people. And I feel that it's important that you have a shot where people can see it's you and you're connected with them.
I get it. Yeah, and that definitely works. It definitely, it works for you, and keeps them in touch with who and what you are at that moment, which is wonderful. And it's all sort of part of the sort of Leee John image, that you've carried that through. It's changed obviously from the 80s considerably, but that I've always felt sort of a Leee John image that was specific to you, even Brit Funk, you come out on stage, you looked really sharp, and and the set you delivered was fantastic, I have to say. And
thank you.
I just I like to see that. I think it's great. It's just good for your image.
No, thanks. I mean, it's great. It's great to have the great musicians. I mean, as I said before, I've got Dr. John Watson on keyboards. I've got Alexis Contreras on bass. Jimmy John on guitar. We have Ali Bongo, Alex. He's on percussion.
Yeah.
And my backing singers Lorraine and Malika. And on drums, we have Paul Jones. So I have quite a nice team. And, it's great because I always say no man is an island. It's down to the team playing and everybody, kind of linking up with each other and playing off each other. It's important that, as well as me, that my musicians are tight and together, and we, they all, we've been working together for a long time now, and it's good to have their support.
That's fantastic. Can I ask you to do a drop for me, Lee? I mean, we can record it now.
No problem.
I can record it now.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm DJ Gloss. This is Sound Fusion Radio, and the rest I'll let you make up.
Hi, this is Lee John of Imagination. You're listening to DJ Gloss on Sound Fusion Radio.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. I can't wait.
No problem at all.
Brilliant. So,
fantastic.
How are we doing for time, Lee? Because I don't want to take.
I'm going to have to go pretty soon because we're going to be going to lunch quite shortly. It's getting to the lunch break. They have their lunch, and then there's the siesta. Then everything shuts down, and then at 5 o'clock everything comes alive until like 3 in the morning.
Sounds like great fun. Sounds perfect.
Yeah, and then I'm flying to Nice in the morning, so it's going to be quite a heavy one.
Busy man. There we go. So the only last thing I'll leave us with to say then, Lee, is thank you very much for the interview. If there's anything you'd like to say to our listeners before you go, then please feel free to do so, and I'll sit back and let you talk.
Great. No, thank you, DJ Gloss. I've really enjoyed the interview. And anyone who wants to see the new video, Imagination featuring Lee John Crash video, it's on www.muzu.tv, muzu.tv. And you can also download Crash on there. That's on iTunes as well as the Best of Imagination. You can get your pre-orders in. I think it's like a shopping list. Get your pre-orders in. It's quite fun. Get your pre-orders in Imagination. But I hope to see everybody on tour. And at all the shows, if there's any requests that people want me to do, there's always send me a note backstage, and if we haven't got it in the set, I'll sing it a cappella.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So I hope to see everybody on tour in October, and thank you very much for having me on your show.
Well, thank you very much, Lee, for coming on to the show, and hopefully we can talk to you again sometime a little bit further down the line. And
Excellent.
It's been an absolute honour, and wonderful to talk to you. You have a great day. I hope that you enjoy your siesta and have a great flight to Nice. So take care.
God bless.
Thanks very much, Lee.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day. Thank you now.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye. There you go. The fantastic Lee John there from Imagination. He was on a beach in Spain when we did that interview, and it was absolutely great. And it was wonderful to speak to him and found out so many things that we didn't know about Imagination, not just back in the day, but also going forward, things they're doing now and projects that are coming out now. So really seriously enjoyed the whole week with Lee John and all of the music, which everybody knows, just wonderful tunes from Imagination. So a big thanks from us at Sound Fusion Radio to Lee John and Imagination for this feature week.
Hi, this is Lee John of Imagination. You're listening to DJ Gloss on Sound Fusion Radio.
Glossy. This is Sound Fusion Radio with DJ Gloss.